active social media platforms, bringing KBC closer to you anytime, anywhere. To our loyal viewers and listeners, we say, KBC, informing the nation, connecting Kenya.
Welcome back to Semana Spokes from Ganagava.
Semana Spokes is your platform to query the government, get answers, and understand what is being done in your country and across the nation. It's your time to ask, participate, and be informed. Don't miss Bonganagava every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live on KBC Channel 1.
Banks in Kenya now have a new formula for calculating loan interest rates. It's called Kesonia, or the Kenya Shilling Overnight Interbank Average. What is Kesonia? Kesonia is the average interest rate banks charge each other when they borrow money from each other. Think of it like the wholesale price of a bar of soap. Before a shopkeeper sets the retail price, they look at a wholesale price, then add transport, rent, and other expenses to get the final customer price. In the same way, banks use Kesonia as the starting point. They then add their operating costs, staff systems, rent, etc., and a risk premium based on your repayment history to determine your final loan interest rate. Why it matters? Kesonia is fair and transparent because it's based on real market costs and monitored daily by the Central Bank of Kenya. What this means for you? Paying loans on time can get you lower interest and access more credit. Your interest rate will be unique to you based on your repayment history. Even if you've defaulted before, you can rebuild your record and qualify for a better loan interest rate over time. Pay your loans on time, build a strong repayment history, and unlock more opportunities. Contact your bank for more information.
A historic moment unfolds as Bomet University attains its official charter, marking its formal recognition as a fully fledged public university. The event will be held on Wednesday, 4th of February 2026 at Bomet University College and will be graced by His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya. This milestone signifies a new era of academic excellence and transformational learning. As a chartered institution, we are committed to offering accredited programs in education, business, social sciences, agriculture, and technology. Admissions are ongoing. Bomet University, a charter for excellence.
Chief Emeritus David Maraga flags a rampant corruption that is happening here in the country, warning that it could stall national progress.
And on the cabinet tonight, we feature a former Catholic priest who left the altar to serve in the public service as MP, cabinet minister, and DG at the Kenya Airports Authority.
And also coming up in business, the Central Bank of Kenya issues a warning, stern one, on the fake currencies that's circulating in the country.
And in sports, golf sunshine.
We'll be shining a spotlight on that story a little later on. But first things first, tonight, our highlights.
They cannot tell us a plan. They do not have an agenda. They do not have a vision. They do not have a plan for our nation.
Where are your ideas? President Ruto challenges the opposition to adopt issue-based politics and let young Kenyans benefit from the government development agenda. a working nation. Matatu owners to withdraw services every Monday in protest against harassment by boda operators.
That every challenge presents an opportunity for critical reflection and crafting a sustainable, long-term solution capable of preventing recurrent industrial unrest in the health sector.
Plus, we have a deal. Governors and clinicians agreed to a collective bargaining agreement to avert another round of protests.
It's Monday from wherever you're watching us. Welcome to Prime Edition. I'm Mboya.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Lensa Odingo. Talk to us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1.
An update on that Matatu strike. Commuters were Monday morning forced to walk to their destinations after a section of public service vehicle operators withdrew their services and blocked most roads.
The operators are protesting against alleged violence and the touching of vehicles by boda riders.
Now, the Matatu owners have announced plans to hold a strike every Monday until government addresses what they term as persistent harassment.
Here is that report.
Commuters were left stranded on Monday after confusion surrounding a planned public service vehicle operators strike triggered massive traffic snarl-ups across Nairobi City. Long queues were witnessed at major bus stops, with many commuters forced to walk long distances or rely on boda operators to get to their destinations. Matatu Owners Association President Albert Karakacha said the strike was necessitated by continued harassment of Matatu crews by boda riders in various towns, including cases where vehicles have allegedly been touched.
From last year up to January, we are talking about 20 vehicles which have been banned. And what we are telling our passengers, that is customers, we are sorry for what has happened, but we are trying to fight for your rights because we know very well if the vehicle is banned, and it has the passengers, all of them will perish.
While announcing plans to stage the strike every Monday, Karakacha said Matatu operators remain open to dialogue with the government in a bid to resolve the standoff.
So what we are telling the government, they need to listen to us. We are ready to sit down. This is our country, and the president said very well that he'll protect the properties and the Kenyans. So he must come, we sit down with him.
Despite normalcy returning later in the afternoon, drivers said the disruption resulted in losses, calling on the government to urgently intervene and end the alleged harassment by boda riders.
Kazi iko mzuri. Juu watu walikuwa wanaogopa. Tungelitaka tu serikali siku zijazo iweze kutumia ile mikakati ambayo inafaa na kuchukua sheria, kuchukulia wenye wamefanya vitendo kama hivyo sheria, kwa sababu huu ni uhalifu. Huwezi kachomea mtu gari ambao ni alone na umeichoma into ashes, na at the end of the day we mwenyewe probably wewe ndio una makosa.
Ingekuwa ni kwamba watu wa pikipiki vile ambavyo matatu ziko na sako, watu wa pikipiki pia wangetengenezewa sako yao. Ndio in case kama kuna mgogoro ambao umetokea wa kuchoma gari, wanajua huyu ametoka sako fulani. Idara ya pikipiki lakini ni masako fulani, so kupatikana inakuwa ni haraka, then huyo mtu anachukuliwa sheria.
Jacqueline Mashara for Prime Edition.
Let's now take you to Kisumu, where President William Ruto has asked Kenyans to reject leaders propagating retrogressive politics, challenging the critics of his administration to offer viable ideas to drive the country's progressive development agenda.
President Ruto maintains that the bottom-up economic transformation agenda has a deliberate strategy to solve the youth unemployment headache in the country. The head of state at the same time challenged young Kenyans to be proactive in seeking the various government funding facilities targeting youth enterprises.
Now, he made the remarks in Kisumu County after presiding over a disbursement of 220 billion shillings in the Nyota Startup Capital Program to over 8,000 youth drawn from Kisumu, Siaya, and Homa Bay counties.
Ahoye! Homa Bay, hoye!
8,820 youth drawn from 105 wards in Kisumu, Siaya and Homa Bay counties are the latest to benefit from 220 million shillings disbursement as part of the Nyota Startup Capital Program, an initiative seeking to empower over 800,000 young Kenyans.
Jo Kisumu, hoye!
President William Ruto, while presiding over the exercise in Kisumu, lashed out at the opposition for offering no tangible solutions to the challenges facing the nation.
Mimi naona viongozi wengine wanasema mambo mengi, wanajaribu kutupatia lecture ya mambo ya education system. We want to tell them, we are fixing your mess. You messed the education system. There were no teachers in class. There was inadequate capitation. There was no enough money for universities and TVET.
Ruto maintaining that his administration has adopted deliberate and viable policies such as the affordable housing program, bilateral labor agreements and digital jobs facilities to respond to the youth unemployment headache in the country.
Today, a young person from Kisumu or Siaya or Homa Bay or any other county in the Republic of Kenya can work outside Kenya because the government of Kenya has secured opportunities for us to work anywhere in the world.
It is now evident that Pesa Mfukoni was not just a campaign slogan. Leo hawa vijana 8,820 wanatoka hapa na pesa. Hiyo ndio maana ya Pesa Mfukoni. Rais aliongea siku ile ya campaign.
The head of state called on Kenyans to reject leaders propagating retrogressive politics, pointing out the critical role of the reforms in education and healthcare in advancing Kenya's development agenda.
They cannot tell us a plan. They do not have an agenda. They do not have a vision. They do not have a plan for our nation. The only thing they are telling us is that we should go back to NHIF, is that we should go back to education where most of our children did not have teachers in class, is that we should go back. What kind of reform do you engage in by going in reverse?
From Nikujituma, that is the slogan that President William Ruto is riding on to challenge Kenyan youth to transform the economic status by embracing various government funding mechanisms like the Nyota initiative. Reporting for Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe. Okay.
On to a story we highlighted for you at the beginning of the broadcast. The Kenya Union of Clinical Officers and Council of Governors have finally put pen to paper on a collective bargaining agreement which they have been negotiating for the last 8 years.
That's right. The deal, the first ever between the two, is effective from the 1st of July 2025 all the way to June 2029.
Clinicians have a bag of benefits courtesy of the agreement, including career progression and promotions, improved remuneration, workforce stability, job security, payment of salaries arrears, among others.
Kasichana Masha was on that medical beat.
After years of numerous negotiations and industrial actions, the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers finally has a deal after signing collective bargaining agreement with the Council of Governors.
This experience have reinforced our collective conviction that every reflection and that every challenge presents an opportunity for critical reflection and crafting a sustainable long-term solution capable of preventing recurrent industrial unrest in the health sector.
We must remember this day. It has been 8 years. And as they come, I really want to thank you, and especially the CEO. The deadlocks, the stalemates. And as I say that, let me also say that if we have hurt anyone in this process, naomba mtusamehe.
The contract, which is the first between the two entities, will address long-standing labor issues, among them transition of universal health coverage staff to permanent terms, payment of salaries arrears, promotions, harmonization of salaries.
And I think the challenges that has faced us, we attribute it to fragmented decision-making, and we will encourage that the Council of Governors can anchor a structured system under the Council of Governors that can handle the issues of the HR. so that at any time a decision making can be actually be able to help us avoid the industrial action that has been ongoing.
During the signing ceremony, the Council of Governors Chief Executive Officer Mary Mwiti said the CBA has taken long to be signed because of financial constraints.
The second clause that was contentious on the implementation of the third cycle of a salary review by SRC that was to be implemented in 2024. But all of us are aware of what happened in 2024. There was altering of the finance bill that critically reduced the component for the county governments by 20 billion.
According to Mwiti, the 5-year agreement is a sign of goodwill from county bosses and clinical officers.
Even though it is going to be signed, that effective date is July 2025. That money has to be budgeted for. So we will be requesting the unions, although we are signing today, you allow that the money be budgeted for. The areas will be given, yes.
The signing of the 2017 CBA comes barely 3 days after the union agreed on a return-to-work formula, ending their 36-day strike.
After numerous industrial actions executed by the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers were witnessed in the country, the signing of this collective bargaining agreement could be the end of that chaos. But that is just a legal signing. What is left is the implementation of the same. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Kasichana Masha.
Many thanks indeed. Let's now move on to that report that has been compiled, put together by Yusuf Farah. The government is taking national identification registration services a little closer to the people with a focus on border counties.
This is following the introduction of a 10-day mobile national identification registration exercise in West Pokot County, targeting residents who lack the critical documents.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Muchuma Murkomen says that the exercise is targeting at least 100,000 Kenyans.
In the spirit of devolving critical government services to the grassroots, the government has kicked off a mobile national identification registration exercise in West Pokot, Turkana and Elgeyo Marakwet counties. Interior Cabinet Secretary Muchuma Murkomen says the ministry is targeting at least 15 border counties that have for long been marginalized.
For far too long, the pastoralist communities have been marginalized in terms of access to registration services. As a result, many of them are unable to access basic government services such as medical cover through SHA, matters to do with housing, and also we are unable as a country to do proper planning.
The exercise that uses live capture machines and digital services simplifies the registration process, making it faster and more accessible to many.
This is new technology that doesn't require the use of papers. It is also a very portable device that as long as you have the chief and you have the fingerprints officer and you have the registration officer, 3 people, then you can be able to visit any place of the county.
Devolution of services seeks to bridge the gap between citizens and government services and empower communities with essential identification documents. Yusuf reporting for Prime Edition.
Let's now take you to Parliament. Bungoma County Government is on the spot for failing to remit statutory deductions, pay gratuities and pensions to employees.
Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka found it extremely hard to convince senators why county staff who served under his predecessor were yet to receive their gratuities 3 years down the line.
The Senate County Public Accounts Committee also implored the county executive to prioritize payment of pending bills, which stand at 2.6 billion shillings.
Gishukiwa Shira with that report.
No, not right away.
Bungoma County Executive, led by Governor Kenneth Lusaka, appeared before the Senate's County Public Accounts Committee to respond to 35 unresolved issues flagged by the Auditor General's report for the 2024-2025 financial year. Key among the audit queries was the pending bills that had shot to 4.6 billion shillings. The county executive, however, submitted that the pending bills had reduced to 2.6 billion shillings after verification and that plans for payment were underway.
So we wanted to be very sure that when we make any payments, the payments are actually towards existing projects and not non-existing projects. I want to give that commitment that we are going to pay, based on those who have been waiting longest.
Governor Lusaka assured suppliers that the debt will be paid gradually within 3 years, with 590 million shillings already allocated in the supplementary budget for clearing the oldest pending bills. The senators also took issue with the non-remittance of statutory deductions for its employees, thereby delaying the disbursement of pensions and gratuities to beneficiaries.
Have you paid gratuities to staff of the former administration, those who ought to have been paid gratuities?
Chair, we have not paid to all of them. There is a balance of...
Why? Because gratuity, the assumption is, as you process an employee's salary, there is an element that is supposed to go to an account, just like deposits and retentions, in the ideal case, so that when an employee exits service, they should not come begging.
Others are the UHC guys who were on contract earlier and then transferred into permanent. They're asking, and you remember the UHC matter at the Senate, they are keeping asking, where is their gratuity? So this matter spans as far as 2014.
Governor, you see the difficulty you have. That at that time, whether you are sitting in the Senate or somewhere else, your officers made a requisition that included all these things. Then it was not done. If you go back to the control of budget to approve the same expenditure, she will reject it, and we support her.
According to the Auditor General, Bungoma County owed its employees 549 million shillings.
So what we should be recommending as a committee, this 549 million that is on the books of financial statements of county is for investigation and prosecution for the officers concerned, because if I take the money that belongs to the employees and I don't remit to the statutory bodies, it is stealing.
The county governor stated that 130 million shillings has been provided for in the supplementary budget to cater for delayed pensions and gratuities. As senators demand prosecution of county officers responsible for deducting and failing to remit monies for pensions and gratuities, the affected workers in Bungoma County continue praying that their dues will be paid sooner than later. Geshoke Washira, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
20 minutes past the top of the hour, you're watching Prime Edition. And coming up,
former CJ is calling on the youth to register as voters.
And also the Abagusi community demand the return of the remains of the legendary Kisii warrior Otenyo Nyamatere from Britain. It's been 100 years since. All that coming up after the short break. Stay with us.
Tunatambulika kwa mandhari yetu ya kuvutia,
tamaduni zetu, ukarimu wetu, vyakula vyetu, uchapakazi,
na pia kwa sauti tofauti za watangazaji wetu waliobobea.
Libengo liko hapa aka upcoming sponsor. Bila shaka hapa ni kama pedeshe, ma deep state, vile cartels.
Tunaenzi talanta za pwani, tunakuza talanta za hapa kwetu nyumbani.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuko mjengoni kama kawa na wanangu wengine wawili.
Usikose kutegea 103.1 Pwani FM, stesheni ambayo itakupa fursa ya kupata uhondo kamili wa pwani na kuleta Wakenya pamoja.
Pwani FM, tafrija ya kipwani.
The show with Nairobi Fashion Week, a platform that creativity meets heritage.
And yet, even without a recent edition, Koroga still lives on in the way we plan events, in the way the audiences show up, and the way Kenyan music and African talent are celebrated today.
Tonight we feature the one and only. He's a singer, songwriter, and of course, a performing artist. I'm talking about none other than Charisma.
Kuna trust issues, kila siku unanishuku. You disrespect my lover. Remember my guy. Tonight I don't.
Welcome back to Prime Edition.
Our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. On to Monday Politics, Tom.
Former Chief Justice David Maraga is tonight calling on Kenyan youth to register as voters and play an active role in shaping the country's leadership come the 2027 general poll.
The United Green Movement party flag bearer, who was in Mombasa County, raised concern over what he described as rampant corruption and misuse of public resources in the country, warning it could stall national progress if not addressed.
Tilio Marco is the one on that story.
As the race towards 2027 general election gains momentum, the United Green Movement party flag bearer David Maraga is wooing the youth to acquire national identification cards and register as voters.
Kama unaacha ya kuwa na change, lazima uwe na kura. Ndio upige kura kwa wale ambao unaona wataleta ile change ambayo inatakikana.
The former Chief Justice also raised concerns over what he described as rampant corruption and misuse of public resources.
Wizi ambayo inaendelea itaangamiza hii nchi. Itaangamiza hii nchi, upende usipende. Tukiendelea namna hii, Kenya itasimama. Kenya itasimama, na ikisimama kila mtu ataumia.
Meanwhile, youth leaders allied to the Orange Democratic Movement are accusing a section of ODM leaders of undermining the party from within by opposing the ongoing talks with the ruling United Democratic Alliance.
Daktari Oburu Oginga should go ahead and negotiate on his own terms. He will not be cajoled or bullied. He's the party leader and the presidential candidate. He does not negotiate with anyone apart from Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
Led by Kasmuel Makaure, the youth expressed confidence that President William Ruto will deliver on the 10-point agenda that gave rise to the broad-based government. In Kiambu County Assembly, Speaker Charles Thiongo says he fears for the safety of his family after unknown individuals allegedly threatened them. Speaking at Kiambu police station when he made a formal complaint, Thiongo said unidentified people visited his home on Sunday and issued threats.
I don't want to speak much, but saying I've talked with the county commander, the DCIO, they have assured us that they are going to carry out thorough, professional, and conclusive investigations.
In Kiambu County, residents of Karembu in Gatundu South have condemned politicians accused of sponsoring goons to disrupt government aid programs, warning that such actions undermine critical support meant for vulnerable Kenyans, particularly those affected by the ongoing drought.
Tunawakemea in the name of Jesus. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali watusamee sisi wakaaji wa Gatundu South, juu sio sisi tulimwaga hiyo chakula.
Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Interestingly compiled by Marie Yambo, countless children living with cleft lip and palate conditions in the country are said to benefit from free surgeries courtesy of a medical humanitarian organization.
And that organization, the Italian-based Emergenza Sorrisi, in partnership with other foundations, will offer free reconstructive surgeries to affected children during a one-week mission at St. Francis Hospital. That's here in Nairobi, Kenya.
The campaign aims to perform over 100 life-changing surgeries, giving children a chance to improve health, speech, and confidence. To ensure long-term impact, the project will train local doctors, equipping them with expertise to continue providing these specialized services in Kenya even after the mission concludes.
Because the Italian-based Emergenza Sorrisi is in partnership with the THX22 Foundation.
We found very high level of the local doctors, plastic surgery association, and we are very happy to have the chance to share experience to improve our ability to treat the children, to offer to other doctors, resident and young doctors the opportunity to grow up with us.
We are very happy to do this with Emergenza Sorrisi, and we hope in a much longer collaboration which will go far beyond this first mission in Kenya.
We want to build up a project of sustainability, because sustainability is the goal for the world in 2030, but 2050 and for all the future.
And on scales of justice, the Court of Appeal has dismissed a notice of motion by Cyrus Kanyi seeking to file new evidence in the appeal of medical negligence against Consolata Hospital in Nyeri in an alleged botched surgery.
For this and more stories in our Scales of Justice segment.
In the matter, Cyrus Kanyi had been admitted to Consolata Hospital in Nyeri for treatment of injuries sustained in a road accident. He claimed that a surgery on his leg was botched, impeding his recovery and forcing him to be admitted to a different hospital between 19th of November, the year 2001 and 17th of May 2002 for corrective surgery. He then accused Consolata Hospital for negligence before the High Court at Nairobi in a civil suit number 1766 of the year 2002, seeking general and special damages. A judgment delivered on 6th October the year 2017 found the respondents liable for negligence and awarded him 3 million shillings as damages for pain and suffering, 1,310,000 shillings as special damages, and 500,000 shillings as future medical expenses, as well as interests and costs of the suit. Dissatisfied with the awards, the applicant lodged the present appeal on grounds that the judge erred in assessment of the awards of general damages and special damages and sought to bring new evidence. However, appellate judges Gatembu Kairu, Jamila Mohammed and Weldon Korir dismissed the application and ordered that each party bears its own cost of the application. Michael Mondiga for Prime Edition.
An elders' council from the Abagusi community has renewed its demand for the return of the remains of a legendary warrior, Otenyo Nyamaterere, from Britain more than 100 years after his death during the colonial era.
The Mwanya Getige Heritage Council said the British government had maintained an uncompromising stance on handling over Otenyo's head, which was allegedly taken abroad after he was killed by colonial soldiers in 1908.
The legendary Abagusi warrior Otenyo Nyamaterere was allegedly beheaded during a confrontation with British forces at Mosocho in Kitutu Chache, South Kisii County in 1908, after leading a resistance against the colonial occupation of Gusii land. His remains are believed to have been kept in a museum overseas.
Otenyo Nyamaterere, he was beheaded and his head was taken to the UK, where it is lying somewhere in a museum, either in London or somewhere in Manchester.
Speaking in Kisii town during a commemoration of colonial era atrocities held, Elder Joseph Siko said the unresolved matter continues to disturb the community. The chairman of the Abagusi Cultural Development Council, Matundura Araka, said the return of Otenyo's remains will be the minimum form of justice for the community from the colonialists.
Tunataka kichwa ile ilichukuliwa na Uingereza, inaitaka irudishwe hapa tuje kuifanyia sherehe ya mwisho ile ya maana.
We are also demanding that we get compensation, reparation for the damages which we suffered as a people. We as elders, we keep dreaming every night. The dream of Otenyo keeps coming to us, and we want that head and his paraphernalia, the spear and the shield, to be brought back so that we give him a decent burial.
He further called on both the national and county governments to support efforts to retrieve Otenyo's remains for a dignified cultural burial. For Prime Edition, I'm Alvin Counder.
Tonight on the cabinet, we profile a former Catholic priest who left the altar for public service, serving as a member of parliament, a cabinet minister, opposition official, and later on, Director General of the Kenya Airports Authority.
He is also a member of one of Kenya's most prominent political families.
This is a story of George Kamau Muhoho.
George Kamau Mohoho was born in 1936 to Senior Chief Mohoho Gadesha. He is the younger brother of Mama Ngina Kenyatta, Kenya's First Lady, and an uncle to Kenya's 4th President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Mohoho studied at Gatitu Primary School before proceeding to Albanian University, where he studied international relations and diplomatic practice, and Collegio San Pietro, where he attained a master's degree in canon law. In 1963, the year Kenya attained independence, Mohoho was ordained as a Catholic priest. He served the church in various administrative capacities and rose through its ranks. In addition to serving as private secretary to the Pope, he became the first black African papal envoy to Brussels, Luxembourg, the Council of Europe, and NATO. In 1972, he was appointed papal emissary to Uganda during the reign of Idi Amin. He speaks Latin, Spanish, Italian, French, and German, in addition to multiple African languages. In 1976, he served as chaplain of the University of Nairobi. After 13 years in the Catholic Church, Mohoho left the priesthood. On 8th January, he married Jean Jerry Koinange, daughter of John Koinange. In 1983, Mohoho entered elective politics and won the Juja parliamentary seat. President Daniel Arap Moi appointed him Assistant Minister for Education, later elevating him to Minister for Tourism and Wildlife in 1987. His political career later transitioned into the parastatal sector. In 1991, together with Mwai Kibaki, Jenga Karume, and John Kane, Mohoho became one of the founding officials of the opposition Democratic Party. Kibaki was the party leader, Karume served as patron, Kane as Secretary General, and Mohoho as Executive Officer. DP and other opposition parties competed against Moi's KANU in the 1992 and 1997 elections, but were defeated due to opposition disunity. In 2002, as President Moi's came to an end, he selected Uhuru Kenyatta to carry the KANU presidential flag. In that election, Mohoho chose to support longtime family friend Mwai Kibaki rather than his nephew Uhuru Kenyatta. While Karume and Kane shifted positions, Kane rejoining KANU and Karume backing Uhuru, Mohoho remained aligned with Kibaki. The combined force of Kibaki, opposition parties, and KANU defectors led to KANU's defeat in 2002. In 2004, President Kibaki appointed Mohoho as Director General of the Kenya Airports Authority. During his tenure, he oversaw the construction of a new modern wing at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and the development of a new airport in Kisumu City. In the run-up to the 2007 general election, Mohoho took leave from KAA to run Kibaki's re-election campaign. He resumed duties in January 2008, following Kibaki's swearing in on 30th December 2007. In April 2009, Mohoho was reappointed for a third time as Director General of KAA for a one-year term. After his term, Stephen Mwangi Gishoke took over as Managing Director. In 2015, Mohoho joined other members of the Kenyatta family, including Uhuru's cousin Ngegi Muigai, to support Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency. In 2017, the family again campaigned actively for Uhuru, including after the Supreme Court nullified the 8th August election results. After these political engagements, Mohoho stepped back from public office and turned his focus to overseeing the operations of the Kenyatta family businesses. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
Welcome back to Semana Spokes from Ganagava.
Semana Spokes is your platform to query the government, get answers, and understand what is being done in your country and across the nation. It's your time to ask, participate, and be informed. Don't miss Bonganagava every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live on KBC Channel 1.
Confirm heart cath.
Halo, Ume. Samahani. Samahani, siwezi kufika huko. Ndio, nilikuwa tayari njiani, halafu mgonjwa wa dharura alikuja.
After I'm gone, make sure he learns Chinese. Teach him everything, okay? And I wish sincerely that your dreams can come true. And you'll become a fine doctor one day and have your own life and romance.
A very good evening to you. Thank you very much for keeping it Prime Edition. And my name is Betty Kiptum. This is the business news. Ahead of St. Valentine's next week, the Central Bank of Kenya is warning the public to desist from preparation of cash flower bouquets and ornamental cash displays, arguing that the practice is altering, damaging and defacing banknotes. Presentation of cash flower bouquets has been gaining popularity in the recent months for gifting purposes. The central bank warns that defacement, mutilation or impairment of currency notes is an offence under the Penal Code. The CBK is urging the public to desist from folding, rolling, gluing, taping, stapling or pinning currency notes and instead adopt alternative non-damaging methods when presenting monetary gifts. Ladies, looks like we will have to do with the natural flowers. Now, employees earning up to 30,000 shillings per month will not pay income tax from July this year if a proposal by the government is adopted. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is John Mbadi, further says the plans include reducing pay-as-you-earn rates for those earning up to 50,000 shillings monthly. Mbadi says the proposed measures aims at increasing disposable income for a majority of Kenyan workers and stimulating consumer spending.
The proposed tax relief measures are part of broader fiscal reforms undergoing public participation forums across the country. During a budget and privatization public engagement for the Eastern region in Meru, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi said the government is keen to cushion low-income earners from the brunt of rising living costs.
I am taking tax laws amendment bill to Parliament. Once Parliament resumes, we are preparing that bill, take to them to approve so that any Kenyan, anyone who is earning 30,000 and below in Kenya should not pay as you earn. You pay zero.
Mbadi says workers earning below 30,000 shillings monthly will no longer be subjected to income tax, while those earning 30,000 and 50,000 shillings will enjoy a lower pay-as-you-earn rate.
So those who are earning 50,000, first you will benefit because your first 30,000, you pay zero. Then the next 20,000, you pay 25%. We are trying to put some money in your pocket.
The income tax in Kenya uses progressive brackets, taxing lower incomes at lower rates. 10% rate applied on the first 24,000 shillings per month, 25% on the next 8,333 shillings, 30% on the next 467,667 shillings, 32% on the next 300,000 shillings, and 35% on income above 800,000 shillings monthly. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
And Kenya is keen on supporting local vehicle assembly as a key pillar of the country's industrial strategy to create jobs and strengthen small and medium-sized enterprises. Investments Cabinet Secretary Lee Kinyanjui says the government is rolling out measures to strengthen domestic manufacturing to drive down prices of vehicles and deepen the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya agenda.
With expanded assembly programs and rising regional demand, the industry players say local vehicle assembling is supporting industrial growth, skills development, and long-term economic transformation. Investments Cabinet Secretary says increased vehicle assembling supports expansion of production capacity, increasing value addition, and creates employment opportunities across the supply chain.
One of the recommendations that we will be looking at is how Kenya can make itself more attractive, not just for part manufacturing, but eventually to have a vehicle or vehicles at different levels manufactured in Kenya.
It will also mean that this product can be sold by a wider network than the network that we have today, because the dealers who are also selling the second-hand vehicles will be able to now sell to their customer because we have entered that market.
Kinyanjui is urging Kenyan individuals and institutions to embrace locally made vehicles to benefit from tax incentives tied to local manufacturing, which ultimately lowers the overall cost of vehicles.
The biggest driver in this whole conversation is government policy around taxation and vehicle leasing. So if government continues to lease more and more vehicles, and one of the conditions for you to participate in the government leasing program is that the vehicle is locally assembled and a certain percentage input must be local, then we are seeing a turnaround of the industry.
Nduta Mokami for Prime Edition.
And Kenyans have been urged to embrace indigenous foods owing to their high nutritional value amid rising cases of lifestyle diseases. The call was made during an exhibition held in Kabarnet, seeking to revive forgotten and underutilized Kenyan food crops and integrate them into the national food system and modern markets.
The exhibition, dubbed Histories and Futures of Underutilized Crops Reimagined, a program supported by the British Academy, brought together experts from the National Museums of Kenya, Mboya University, the University of Lincoln and the University of Nottingham, whose combined expertise spans agriculture, nutrition and cultural studies.
We are actually on the ground collecting data from the elders and all that, and what we did was to interview them and get to know what actually happened. We used to eat this food, this was our indigenous foods. What happened along the way? And we have the story, it's running quite well. We know that it's because of the policies, the colonial policies, which interfered with our indigenous foods.
Some of the genetically modified crops are empty harvest when you compare the nutritional property in those particular food crops. When you compare them with our indigenous traditional foods, our foods are better.
They noted that indigenous crops such as millet, sorghum, amaranth, cowpeas and traditional vegetables are highly nutritious and better adapted to local climate conditions, making them critical in strengthening food security as the negative impact of climate change intensifies.
We are engaging the community, we are engaging researchers to have these conversations and start asking ourselves, how can we consume these crops now? How can the youth be involved in imagining these crops for the future?
Vegetables that we're seeing a lot of today have those nutritional benefits and have been looked down on subsequently because of the people who are eating them, because they're kind of associated with maybe a lower standard of life. Whereas obviously what we're realising, as Lillian says, is that they are beneficial to people's health. But I think the thing that really interests me about them is it's not just health, it's also culture.
They warned that increased consumption of highly processed foods has contributed to a rise in lifestyle-related diseases, urging Kenyans to adopt healthier and traditional diets. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
And Geothermal Development Company has expanded geothermal exploration to Suswa in Narok County, seeking to tap 300 megawatts. Geothermal Development Company Acting Managing Director, that is Stephen Busiene, says drilling rigs have been mobilized to Suswa, joining the company's other active projects in Menengai in Nakuru County, as well as Paka and Silali fields in Baringo County.
Kenya is Africa's leader in geothermal power with nearly 1,000 megawatts of installed capacity and an estimated 10,000 megawatts of untapped potential along the Rift Valley. Geothermal Development Company has started exploration activities in Suswa. The project will be undertaken in 3 phases.
Suswa has a potential of about 300 megawatts. So 300 megawatts will probably be slightly more than 10% of what this country currently consumes on a daily basis, and that really would go a long way in improving the energy security of our country.
With the first phase targeting to drill steam to generate 100 megawatts of electricity.
The plan is for us to spud first on 1st of July. We want to spud our first one on 1st of July. We intend to use 1 rig initially, But once we get the results from that first well, we'll then be able to make a decision on whether to move another rig there.
The Geothermal Development Company Managing Director says experience from the company's projects in the counties of Nakuru and Baringo has strengthened its capacity in steam exploration.
We are going to Susu at a time when we are really more experienced. We have all this experience that we've gathered. We've been able to work very well with the communities.
Kingdom Bank has expanded its operations to Embu, seeking to tap Eastern Region's agricultural base, vibrant cooperative movement and trading activity. Speaking in Embu, Kingdom Bank Managing Director, that is Anthony Mburu, said the lender is keen on agribusiness financing for coffee, tea, macadamia, horticulture and dairy farming, as well as farm machinery.
It is a county of production, enterprise and promise. Its economy is deeply rooted in agriculture and trade, powered by farmers, cooperatives, traders and MSMEs who form the backbone of this region. That Kingdom Bank will continue to bring banking closer to communities and to serve our customers with care, consistency and excellence.
That story from Embu brings us to a close of the business this evening. Tom is standing by to bring you the latest in the world of sport. My name is Betty Kiptum. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.
Je, wewe ni mpenda soka? Na je, wajua kuwa KBC mwenzio wako wa dhati michezoni anakujali? Ndio maana KBC Channel 1 hukuletea taarifa na uchambuzi wa soka.
CAF ndio wamechukua usukani
humu nchini, barani Afrika na ugaibuni, ikiwemo EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga na ligi zingine. Mashabiki pia hutuzwa kwa kujibu maswali kuhusiana na soka.
Swali letu la leo.
Haya yote ni kwenye kipindi cha Dunda Dunda kwenye KBC Channel 1 kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 5 asubuhi hadi saa 6:30 mchana.
Nawahimiza Wakenya waendelee ku-watch Dunda Dunda show.
KBC, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Welcome to Sports. Kenyan professional golfer Naum Wafula is set to make her debut on the Sunshine Ladies Tour this week in South Africa, marking a historic milestone in her career after earning a playing card to the prestigious Continental Tour for professionals lady golfers. The card grants her access to this year's Sunshine Ladies Tour following a consistent and impressive showing at the recently concluded inaugural season on the Sunshine Development Tour, East Africa Swing. The 54-hole tournament has attracted a field of 56 professional golfers from Kenya, Canada, England, France, Germany, Netherlands, and Norway, among other nations. The Kenya police came from a goal down with 5 minutes left on the clock to salvage a point against relegation-threatened Bidco United in the only FKF Premier League match played today. After a goalless first half, Bidco United found the back of the net in the 85th minute, but they could not hold on to the 3 points as Champions Police leveled in the first minute of added time. The 1-1 draw leaves Bidco in danger of the axe at the end of the season as they sit in 16th position with 16 points, just 1 point above APS Bomet and 2 points above Sofapaka. Police have now moved up 1 place to 5th on 29 points, 10 behind leaders Gor Mahia.
wafunge. Bado mjaona.
Real Madrid are waiting to discover if midfielder Jude Bellingham faces a spell-out after he suffered a hamstring injury during the 2-1 win against Rayo Vallecano. The 22-year-old England international was replaced by Brahim Diaz after pulling his left hamstring less than 10 minutes into the La Liga match at Bernabeu.
Kylian Mbappe scored a late penalty to earn Real Madrid a vital 2-1 win over Rayo Vallecano and stay 1 point behind La Liga leaders Barcelona on the table. Vinicius Jr. had given Real a 1-0 halftime lead before Jorge de Frutos leveled 4 minutes into the second half. In Germany, Serhu Girassi scored twice in quick succession as Borussia Dortmund came from behind in the second half to beat Heidenheim 3-2 in their Bundesliga game at the Signal Iduna Park.
Converted! Point from the first half, Torsten, because there was an earlier foul. I'll hold the thought because Ibrahimovic looked to pick out Dintry. Nihus! Dorsch to Behrens, change of angle. Lovely delivery, oh my goodness!
In Italy, Lautaro Martinez and Piotr Zielinski's first half strikes handed Inter Milan a 2-0 win over Cremonese, extending their lead at the top of Serie A to 8 points.
Cremona, Luis Enrique, more enterprising from him. Zielinski! An absolute beauty. How many times is that this season? First Verona, then Bologna, and now in Cremona.
And Juventus moved into the top 4 after a brace from Gleison Bremer helped them to a convincing 4-1 victory over Parma, extending their dominant run to just 1 defeat in the last 10 meetings.
David, this is Kalulu. Great pace shown from Kalulu. He dinks it towards McKennie. A sumptuous finish from the American.
Youth in Kenya have been urged to showcase their talents and take advantage of government support programs as the country continues to grapple with high levels of youth unemployment. The call was made by coach Austin Ouma during an inter-school football competition that brought together private schools from Nairobi and Kiambu counties. Speaking at the event, Ouma emphasized the need for talent identification at grassroots levels, noting that many gifted people who are young remain undiscovered in the villages. Participants and stakeholders also highlighted the social benefits of school sports. Andrew Hondari noted that such competitions allow students to interact, to build social skills, and also to develop teamwork. He encouraged young people to actively participate in sports to complement their natural abilities with skills that are increasingly in demand. As Kenya looks for sustainable solutions to youth unemployment, stakeholders say that nurturing talent through sports and education remains a powerful tool for empowering the next generation.
Swala hili limeweza kuwa la manufaa zaidi, hasa tukiangalia mtaala mpya wa kiumilisi ambayo pia imechangia sana na kuzungumzia na kupiga jeki masuala ya kandanda na kukuza vipaji.
Huwa anatembea kwa kijiji, naleta watoto pamoja ili wasifanye hizo mambo zingine mbaya. Ile siku wajaenda shule wanakuwa na mambo mingi.
Siku hizi vijana wengi wanarara mtaani, wanajihusisha na madawa za kulevya, lakini ukimleta kwa mpira inamsaidia sana, anapata marafiki na anazidi kujiunga sana na kuencourage watoto wengine.
Arsenal women were crowned world champions after edging Brazilian giants Corinthians 3-2 in extra time to win the inaugural FIFA Women's Champions Cup at Emirates Stadium. The match delivered high drama, quality football, and a historic moment for the North London club. Arsenal took the lead in the 15th minute through Olivia Smith, who finished off a well-worked move. Corinthians responded quickly as Gabi Zanotti equalized in the 21st minute. The Gunners regained control in the second half when Lotte Wuben Moy headed home in the 58th minute. But Corinthians refused to back down, forcing extra time with the 96th minute penalty converted by Vic Albuquerque. In extra time, Kylan Ford became the hero, smashing in the winner in the 104th minute after a slick team move.
Champions Cup final. One of these sides will make history this evening and be the first club to etch their name on that brand new trophy. Russo trying to slide it through to Sina Blackstenius. Here is the Swedish forward strike back to Smith, and it's in! Arsenal strike first! And swinging corner, put in a good position. Is it over the line? Yes, it is! Corinthians level! Brilliant corner, but right on top of the goalkeeper's head, and it was smuggled over the line. Still down, Smith, as the ball's put across. Ruben Moy wins the header, and it's in! Arsenal back in front, and Lotte Ruben Moy wheels away to celebrate. Breaks on the edge of the penalty area, and again Ruben Moy blocks. Still, VAR still looking at this then, checking for a possible penalty. Penalty Corinthians. Can she score the pressure? Spot kick now, yes she can! Corinthians level late on. Caitlin Ford forced wide. The shot across is in! And Arsenal back in front. Caitlin Ford with the goal. Arsenal are champions. Oh, how they had to.
And that does it for sports. And we also have to bring down the curtains on Prime Edition. I want to thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the Prime Edition team, you want to read something before we go?
Yes, thank you for your feedback on our social media platforms. Mixed reactions on quite a number of news items. And when we look at the Matatu strike item, Jerry Susan, quite disappointed. What did the strike solve? Will it solve the Matatu madness? Stopping on the highways, knocking down pedestrians and cyclists, kicking out passengers from moving vehicles, harassing other road users, including fellow drivers. And on other developments tonight, Mau Mau General Kiambati Wajora has passed on, aged 106. Mau Mau General Kiambati Wajora has died, aged 106. Quite a number of messages of condolences to the family. And we put a cap on that note. I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Lensa Odingo.
It's exactly 10 o'clock East African time. We will be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. I am Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya. Bye-bye.
Sahi, ukidial star 419 hash option 4 ama uingie kwa tushinde.com, hakuna probox. Jaribu.
Ni ukweli. Yaani nimeshaingia na ndio tunafyeka. Ya inaona iko ndani. Wanaongelea nini hao? Ni shamba. Na sio moja, sio mbili, shamba 3 hapa.